everybody, back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at a Kimber Desert Warrior TFS. Now this is a slightly newer model from Kimber. They've had the Desert Warrior for a while, but they've kind of revised it over the years, and the TFS I believe is now about 5 years old or so. The TFS comes with the 5.5-inch threaded barrel. So we'll get into some of the, just some of the initial impressions that I've had from the Kimber, and we're going to compare it to some of the more upscale 2011s and 1911s out there, and just kind of give you a breakdown of what to expect, and to make sure that when you do buy something like this, your expectations are going to be set correctly to what you're paying for versus what you potentially could have if you're willing to dump thousands and thousands of extra dollars on top of that. This Kimber Desert Warrior TFS comes in right at $1,400. They can range from there to about $1,600. But right now, I think a happy medium, and that's kind of where they're selling at currently, is about $1,400. And we'll talk about whether or not it's worth $1,400 for this Kimber Desert Warrior. All right. Let me talk about some of the additions that you see here, just to make sure that, again, expectations are correct for what you're getting for that $1,400. So obviously the pistol does not come with this light. It does not come with these grips. It does not come with this magwell, and it doesn't come with an extended magazine. This is a Surefire X300 Ultra. This is the Type B. Surefire doesn't make anything that's trash. This is bomb-proof and an excellent weapon light. And just real quick note, the X300 lies flush with the end of the slide. And that's going to go for any 5-inch standard size 1911. The X300 will fit flush. If that matters to you, it matters to me. So these are from Valkyrie Dynamics. They are machined aluminum grips, really cool. A lot of milling work done to give it more of that modern look. A lot of weight saved, obviously, by milling out some of that additional material. It's got nice solid grip to it. The edges are tapered, so they feel nice and slim. They're not cumbersome at all. These are cut flat on the bottom so that they can match up with the magwell. And so these are awesome grips. I highly recommend them. About $50, so really not a bad deal for what you're getting over here. I got an Brown One Piece Magwell over here. These are really, really nice. They're a little bit pricey, about $150 or so. They come with different back straps, so you can get, this is the 25 lines per inch checkered back strap. It matches up with the 25 lines per inch over here as well. That's checkered from Kimber, so I wanted everything to match. Therefore, that's what I got. However, you can get the chain link, you can get the snake skin, you can get a bunch of different finishes that Brown does make for their 1911s. But one of the nice things that I really took note of is the fact that this magwell is also beveled here at the back end, so that you're not getting that corner. And especially if you're going to be carrying this, now obviously I wouldn't carry it with this extended magazine. However, if you are carrying it, you're not going to have to worry about that extra little bit of corner that's going to be exposed and potentially print when you're wearing it. So just a little food for thought there. And then aside from that, it's just the Wilson Combat. This is the 10 round extended magazine. These are pretty much common for anybody that's ever bought 1911 magazines. You know, they come in stainless or in black. I opted for the black. The base plates are polymer, but they are very well built. Nice and lightweight, but they're very durable. I mean, you can definitely tell when you pick this thing up that it is worth the price. These go for roughly $47-48, almost $50. Aside from that, everything else on here is stock. So let's talk about some of the good, some of the bad, and some of the differences where you're coming from a production or a semi-custom 1911, and then you're looking at something that is more of a upscale, maybe an Ed Brown, maybe a Wilson Combat, a Staccato, or what have you, and you wonder, why the hell does that thing cost twice as much? We'll talk about that in a bit. So the good. I love the finish. All right, this is a Cerakote finish. They do call it the Kimber Pro finish. All right, Don't know really what that means. When I look at it, it just screams to me that it's just been Cerakoted, but that's not a bad thing. Cerakote is a very good and durable coating. It does protect against rust and against light blemishes and stuff like that. It's a beautiful color. It's a really, really nice shade of FDE. I like that it's a little bit more brown than it is tan. So you can kind of see the contrast with the FDE version of the Surefire. I think that this is more proper, flat dark earth. This is more, I would maybe call it like flat dark earth mixed with a coyote brown possibly. But I really do like it. It's just a really nice rendition of FDE. And the coating seems to be very, very nice. It doesn't look like they have any overspray anywhere or any areas that look unprofessionally finished. So really nice finish on here. We'll see how it holds up as I put a lot of rounds through this thing. But right now, it looks to be more than fine, more than adequate. The other good thing is the barrel. So this is a match grade 5.5 inch threaded barrel. The actual thread cap over here is really nice. The knurling is very, very nice. It's black, which kind of gives it, again, that nice contrast, and it matches up nicely with the bushing and the guide rod over here. So really nice fit and finish from Kimber for a production 1911. So far, especially when you look at the slide to frame finish over here, not bad at all. I mean, I showed you guys a Springfield Emissary not too long ago, and that thing was really rough when it comes to the slide to frame finish and the finish of the extractor back here and how much it was sticking out, and you had like all kinds of hard edges here. Kimber's done a very, very nice job, and I'm going to try to get you guys as much of a close-up as I possibly can, but you can see right there, I mean, you might be off by a hair on the frame itself sticking out just ever so slightly, but again, for the money, that is not bad at all. All right, so nice flush fit over here. It's very tight, okay, so nice and tight finish, which is always something that you want to see in a 1911. Not so tight to where it's going to cause any type of malfunction, but tight enough to where there's not any type of play or wiggle or noise when you're trying to shake this thing back and forth like some Colt 1911s will have. All right. Now, some people will argue that it's better to have a little bit of play. It makes the gun more reliable. I don't know. To me, it just drives me freaking nuts. It makes me feel like it's just been rushed to production, that nobody's given it a second glance, and I don't like that personally. So Kimber, very, very nice job on the fit and finish of this gun. If there was anything I could complain about, I would say that essentially the thing that pisses me off the most about a modern 1911 is not having the option to put an RMR on there. Okay, so that kind of sucks. There are options to get them milled and do all that. Unfortunately, it requires time, it requires money, and it's just annoying. But here's the good news. Now, some of these 1911s are not capable of getting milled because they have an extra block for the firing pin safety. And milling it would basically mill into that cavity for that safety block. This, fortunately, okay, does not have that safety block, so it is safe to mill it out if you choose to do so. In today's day and age, it's almost mandatory for any 1911 to have that option. So they do use basically molded steel parts, okay, and some people complain that they're capable of shearing off. I've never experienced that with any 1911 I've ever owned with, the molded steel parts. So I have no idea, how much pressure you'd have to put or how much strain you'd have to put on the gun before something like that would shear off. Most people say that it's the slide release over here that shears off first. So if you've experienced that, sorry to hear that. I've never had any problems, but With that said, it's not so hard to replace these little bits and pieces with, you know, with basically forged or billet steel parts. The only other thing I could think of is, you know, some people might not like the fact that it's not a, that's not a skeletonized trigger on here. I personally love that old school solid trigger. It's a nice and wide aluminum trigger. It's got a beautiful pull on it. So I'll go ahead and show you what that pull looks like. So 2mm pull, solid wall, crisp brake. Reset is going to be nice and short, and right there, again, solid brake. It's adjustable as well, so if you do want to adjust the trigger further back, give you a shorter reset, you can do so. I haven't messed around with it. It's been perfectly fine. 1911 triggers, just, I mean, you really can't go wrong. They're always money. Some of the things that I want to mention about, just kind of in general, I've mentioned it with the Springfield Emissary, but you have to have the right expectations when you spend certain amounts of money on a 1911. I feel like the fit and finish of this is actually very, very good. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. $1,400 is not cheap, right? It's a lot of money to spend on a 1911. There are options out there from as cheap as basically $500 if you go with something like EAA. And you can go as expensive as, sky's the limit, $7-8 grand on a nice custom 1911. This for $1,400, I feel like you are really looking at the main competitor being Dan Wesson. I still stand by my last remarks that Dan Wesson, I think, makes the best production or semi-custom 1911s on the market by far, hands down. But I'm very impressed that Kimber has definitely stepped it up. And it seems like they've stepped it up within the last few years, because the last time I owned a Kimber was an Eclipse Custom 2. And that was about 5 or 6 years ago. And that thing was nice, but it definitely wasn't as nice as this in terms of just kind of the fit and finish components and the overall quality. So bravo, Kimber, good job. Keep it going. It seems like they've got their manufacturing down to where they can still mass produce, but do so in a efficient and effective way, and not, you know, it doesn't lead to bad quality control issues like you've seen with, you know, Remington and with Springfield and some of the other manufacturers. So with that being said, kudos to Kimber. Now, here's how it differs from something like this Staccato P. All right, now the Staccato P, this is a full steel Staccato P, so not really a comparison video, but I just wanted to kind of show you the fit and finish of the slide to frame fit is freaking flawless on these. Okay, you're not going to feel any edge whatsoever. You are going to get something that's 100% flush. It's going to ride like butter. So I mean, it's just, you can hear it, like there's like no freaking sound to that. It's amazing. The triggers are insane, even though these are polymer triggers. I mean, just boom, it's just beautiful. I mean, even the reset is amazing on these. So the reset is like stupidly short. I mean, look at that. I barely lifted my finger off there and boom, right? The actual finish on here is a DLC, so a diamond-like carbon finish on here. That's just a finish that's going to hold up better than Cerakote. It's going to hold up better than nitride. So, I mean, it's just, that's what you're getting for that extra. In this case, this is a $2,600 gun without any of the extras. So you're talking about $1,200 extra dollars, and this is what it gets you. Okay. Or you could also look at something like this Wilson Combat EDC X9. Again, another gorgeous custom fit gun with absolutely no flaws whatsoever. It rides like silk. I mean, it's just the same story, but you know, just like the barrel to slide finish is just extraordinary. That bull barrel is amazing. Like, it's a different league. All right, this is a $3,200 gun. So again, you're talking now a difference of you know, $1,800. It's not apples to apples here. All right, what you're getting here is a gun that, in my opinion, if you're looking at a TRP or you're looking at a Colt 1911, or a SIG or, you know, a Ruger or whatever else you're looking at. Kimbers are going to be a little bit nicer in terms of build quality. Colts, I've always been disappointed with Colt. One of the biggest things that gives Colt their pedigree is the fact that so much of their stuff has been adopted by the military, but that does not say a whole lot. On the Colt, you're able to rattle a lot of the models. On the Colt, the finish sometimes isn't really all that great. That's kind of what, you know, eats away at how the hell are they expecting me to pay, you know, $1,600, $1,700 or more for one of their 1911s when they're really on the production end, more, I would say, similar to the Springfields or to even the SIGs. Kimber is definitely going to be right there on par with Dan Wesson. I would say maybe a hair below Dan Wesson. But with that being said, they're priced right. They are priced exactly where they need to be because your Dan Wessons are going to be right around the high teens. So like, you know, 16, 17, 1,800 bucks. And that's where they should be. Whereas these are going to be slightly below that $1,500 mark where, again, it's a perfect fit for the market for a very well built, very solid, very beautiful 1911. So with that being said, guys, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments box. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to be notified the next time a new video comes out, and I will see you on the next.